The past has a way of catching up, even when you think you've buried it deep. My name is Daniel Carter, and for nearly 30 years I believed I had a perfect marriage. My wife Laura was the woman I devoted my life to. We built a life together, career successes, a comfortable home, and most of all, our daughter Emily. Then, in a single moment, everything shattered. It started with a simple task: cleaning out the attic. While sorting through old boxes, I found an old yellowed envelope buried beneath decades of memories. Inside was a stack of letters. At first, I thought they were love notes between Laura and me, relics of our younger days. But as I read, my heart turned to ice. The words weren't mine. The dates on the letters spanned years, overlapping with the time Laura and I were married. 5 different names appeared, 5 different men, each letter revealing another layer of deceit. My hands shook as I reached the last letter, penned shortly before Emily's birth. A single sentence in that letter shattered me more than any of the others. "Are you sure Daniel won't suspect anything about the baby?" I staggered back, bile rising in my throat. My daughter Emily wasn't mine. The girl I had raised, loved, sacrificed for wasn't my flesh and blood. The world blurred as I sat there in the dusty attic, my mind replaying every moment of my marriage with fresh eyes. The late nights, the unexplained absences, the strange phone calls she dismissed as nothing. I had been blind, a fool who never saw what was right in front of him. Rage simmered beneath my skin, but I forced myself to breathe. I wasn't going to lash out like a man who had just discovered the truth. No, I was going to make her feel every ounce of the pain she had caused me. And so I began a plan. The first step was confirming the truth. I couldn't base everything on letters alone. I went to a private lab and ordered a DNA test. When the results arrived, they confirmed my worst fear: Emily wasn't biologically mine. The final thread of hope I had clung to snapped. Despite the storm raging inside me, I played the role of the devoted husband and father. I smiled at Laura like nothing was wrong, asked Emily about her day, and kept up the facade of normalcy. But beneath it all, I was gathering information, every financial detail, every contact she had, every connection to the men from the letters. I tracked them down one by one. Some had moved on, some had families of their own, but none of them knew what I was planning. I made sure of that. Laura thought she had built a comfortable life on the foundation of lies. She had no idea that foundation was crumbling beneath her feet. It was time to make her pay. The first strike had to be financial. Laura always prided herself on our shared wealth, our investments, and the comfortable life we built. I began quietly moving assets, shifting funds into accounts only I controlled, making subtle changes to our joint accounts so that when the time came, she would have nothing. Next, I secured the proof I needed to destroy her social standing. I compiled the letters, the DNA test results, and every financial secret she had kept from me. I wasn't just going to take my revenge, I was going to ensure she lost everything that mattered to her. Then came the most delicate part: Emily. She was innocent in this, but I couldn't continue living a lie. I needed to tell her the truth, to sever my ties completely. But I had to do it in a way that wouldn't drive her further into her mother's arms. The night finally came. Laura sat across from me at the dinner table, sipping her wine oblivious. I set the envelope of evidence down between us. "We need to talk," I said, my voice calm, steady. She looked at me, then at the envelope, a flicker of confusion crossing her face. "What's this?" she asked, reaching for it. I leaned back, watching as she pulled out the letters, the DNA results, and the financial documents. Her face paled and her hands trembled as she read. "Daniel, I can explain." "No," I cut her off. "You can't, but you will pay for what you've done." She looked up at me, fear flashing in her eyes. And for the first time in our marriage, I saw her for what she truly was: a liar, a betrayer, and soon a ruined woman. Laura's breathing grew unsteady as she absorbed the reality of what I had laid before her. "Daniel, please, we can work through this." I let out a cold laugh. "Work through this? You expect me to pretend none of this happened? That Emily is mine, that you weren't with 5 other men while lying next to me every night?" Tears welled in her eyes, but I felt nothing. No sympathy, no second thoughts. "You don't understand, Daniel," she whispered, reaching across the table. I pulled my hand away before she could touch me. "I understand perfectly, and now so will you." The first wave hit the next morning. Laura tried to withdraw money to hire a lawyer. Her account was empty. The house, the investments, all frozen or transferred under my sole ownership. I had prepared everything meticulously, leaving her legally powerless. Then came the social destruction. I sent the letters, DNA results, and proof of her financial lies to every mutual friend, every family member, and even the community circles she adored being part of. By the end of the week, her phone wouldn't stop ringing. First came the friends, some disgusted, others merely gossiping. Then her employer. Yes, I made sure her indiscretions reached them too. By the end of the month, she had nothing left. And I walked away, finally free of the woman who had deceived me for decades. My revenge was complete.